Um, Hello, guys. My name is Anastasia Pobednova, and I'm giving a presentation on fuck ups and information in the frame of the project Mentoring for Women Empowerment. Shortly about myself, I'm a chairperson of a nonprofit organization which is called Bureau of Initiatives. We are situated in Stavropol. It is North Caucasus, south part of Russia. I'm a team member of a startup, and I like discovering new things about myself, about other people, and about the world. Why would I make this presentation for you? You know, my mom says pretty often, like, smart people learn on other people's mistakes, and not very smart people learn on their own mistakes. So, as for me, I usually learn on my own mistakes, but it would save me so much time and energy if I could do the first one, to learn or on other people's mistakes. So to make this presentation, I had several interviews with people who are pretty experienced. So they are NGO staff members, they are businessmen, startuppers, and as a result, we have 12 live work situations from those people, from experienced practitioners. And those are not only interviews, those are not only stated situations. We analyzed them together. We analyzed the way, the solution they have chosen, like to those problems, and their results they got. Yeah. So we can start, I think. And the first situation is by Alexandra. From Chelyabinsk. I'm a good trainer. I work with teenagers. I see respect and interest to me, but when it comes to closer contact, like spending time together apart from a training, joking, sitting at the fire and singing to a guitar together, sharing silly stories, I can't do this. I hide, and I always feel like I'm not completely part of a team. So what is the problem? What is the situation? Emotional connection with your team, and for some people it could be really challenging. For me, for instance, I feel like I'm totally involved in the work process, but when it comes to some extracurricular, so to say, activities, it is really hard for me to participate and to open, to bond emotional with my colleagues, with my participants. Well, what we would recommend together with Alexandra and some other colleagues of mine, like, you don't have to, like, you are what you are and you cannot be another person. Like, you don't have to be as active as those people, yeah, as other members of your team or maybe participants. Just stay together with them at those golden moments, the moments of emotional connection. Maybe you would just stay quiet, sitting somewhere and listening, but you will be present, and it will be very important for them. So next situation, situation from Kate. My part-time employee didn't perceive this job as a real job. He never prepared for lessons, was often late, and when I got to the hospital with my son and asked him to take my groups over, he said it is too much for him and today he can't work because it's too many groups. Well, I would say that the problem here is not stating clear someone's responsibility. Like, the problem is that employee didn't feel responsible for any part of his job. Yeah, he didn't feel responsible for being on time, for preparing for lessons, for students' results. And the worst thing was that the leader saw this, the project manager saw this, but didn't do anything. There could be many reasons. For instance, there were no other alternatives, or only this employee. Maybe he has some, I don't know, like, unique hard skills, some very unique person, so to say, or maybe like it happens to me sometimes, like used to happen to me a lot before, when I hired someone, or when I wanted to invite a volunteer on board, I didn't give the whole truth about the work, about the amount of work and responsibility in the very beginning, because I thought that it could be too much for this person and he would just leave. So the solution will be just to be sincere, to discuss everything in the very beginning very clearly, what you expect from this person, what responsibilities he has, when, how, what, whatever. You should make things very, very clear. If you don't tell person that this is his responsibility, he thinks that this is not, you know. Only if you say it out loud, then it makes it, then it is clear for him or for her. So next situation, wow, betrayal. Situation 1, it means that there will be 2 situations. So the first one is by Katya, and she says that my partner was negotiating about our common project with many companies behind my back. Without mentioning my name, I didn't have access to business and municipality, he did, plus he is an ex-journalist. So he made reputation on the project and I didn't get a thing. So we don't see anything about Katya's investment in this and input in this project. Maybe he also put a lot of efforts, yeah, but the main thing is that the person, the partner, he was doing things behind her back, yeah, and this is quite bad. So what person feels in this situation is a great frustration, yeah, shock and frustration. Let's have a look at the second situation and find the solution. Second situation by Victor. We found out that he was stealing project money. We did not sue him, but we quit any collaboration immediately. At stake was our reputation, our common projects, our stakeholders. So the problem is, yes, it is betrayal, but it is setting up, yeah, when somebody set somebody up. The solution would be, according to my colleagues, like, of course, you should trust your partners. There should be a trust between like people who have common goal and go towards it together. But things should be very transparent. Like in the very beginning, or like any time you need, you should discuss things like how do we position partners, how do we mention partners. If one partner goes to some meeting, some networking, he also tells about it. So everything should be transparent, and when there is money at stake, big money, there should be some control system. Of course, it means bureaucracy, usually a lot of papers and so on, but it is a backup. Yeah, it's a safe situation for the partner whose money is in the project. So transparency, and in some cases control of the budget, whatever. Okay, stay in touch. What is it? By Varvara. We started very actively, got the idea, gathered several people who were interested, wrote a project proposal and submitted it. We had to wait a couple of months for results and it was quiet. We stopped seeing each other and having planning meetings on Tuesdays. Then our leader showed up and said we didn't get the money, so we need to hang out again and write a new proposal. Nobody was interested. We felt like we lost connection. Yeah. So Varvara says that it is important to stay in touch. And we totally agree, because even if there are periods, there are times when there are no activities, yeah, like in this case, the NGO didn't get the funding yet, so there are no activities. you would lose your team. Your solution would be to have those regular meetings, maybe like calls, like Tuesday planning meetings. So, yeah, sure, you don't plan anything, but this is the way to keep your team and to keep the connection. Yep. No involvement, no team. Quite a situation, right? This one is by Olga from Krasnodar region, and she says, when I start a project, I always involve people that are not actually interested and do not have suitable competencies. And then I do not give them any tasks because I think this is my idea and they don't care. Why would I ask them to work? And I do everything myself. Yeah, the problem we found is that there is an illusion of a team instead of a team. How it happens? You know, for some people, it is really hard to work in a team. And of course, it is even harder to create and support a team, yeah, and maintain a team. We all hear that if you want to implement a project, you need a team, partners, whatever. And we look for them and we find them, like, because we need a team. So we create kind of a team, kind of illusion for us. Yeah, we have a team, we can move forward. But I would say that the solution to this would be, you know, people that come to the project because of the idea, they cannot be just people who like the idea for, I don't know, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you do everything yourself. If people are not involved, if people do not get any tasks, if people do not create, if people do not co-create, they leave. You just don't know why they came in the first place. First thing you should do is to discuss it, to find together your motivation, to find your common goals, and which is really important, your values. And then you can go to some practical particular tasks, yeah. And yeah, when person works, does something for the project, he's involved and he's a real team member. Yeah, let's move on. Oleg. So I was the project manager. Everything was okay until our owner started to criticize me in front of the team. It was humiliating, and I felt that since then I didn't have as much respect among team members as I used to. So what is the problem? The problem is a critics in a teamwork, as we call it. I would say the problem is that there are no set formats of critics and feedback. In a perfect world, you would talk about the way you would give each other feedback in the very, very beginning of your project, but it never happens like this. It pops up somewhere in the middle of the situation when someone is already hurt. So what is the solution, we think? First of all, there are different methods, yeah, of giving feedback. The most popular is the hamburger. Like this kind of feedback has 3 layers. First the compliment, then the criticizing, and the compliment again. And it means that when you give the feedback, yes, it is negative, but you somehow soften it with some compliments. I can give you an example. For instance, I'm an investor or owner, and I tell Oleg next things. Oleg, look, we saw that this week you were very busy, like you did so much. It was like crazy. We were watching you and thinking, do you ever sleep? Like, ever? But you know what, like our participants didn't get the info back. And now this is a real problem because they don't know how to get here, and they call us all the time. So Oleg, once again, you are busy, we see that you do a lot of work, but if you have some difficulties, please share some tasks with your team. We are happy to help. Yeah, that's it. Or another thing, if there is hierarchy in your company, maybe you should discuss with your boss, if you're a manager, project manager, like how do you, like how he criticizes you. Yeah, for instance, if you have some very critical, maybe bad news for him, you go to him first and you discuss everything tete-a-tete, and he gives you some feedback in a hamburger way or whatever, but other team members do not hear it. So, and you analyze the situation, make some key points. So when you talk to the team, it is not as negative as it was when you were talking together. Next one, your contribution to the project. The story by Nikita. I was a manager in a technical startup and did a lot of work and still was able to do some engineering. Those were not very prominent engineering things, but without them, our startup could not succeed. In the end, when our prototype worked and we started to celebrate, I saw that my work wasn't appreciated by anyone. They just didn't notice it. Or it was me who didn't highlight my contribution and my commitment to the project. Well, this is quite a typical situation, I would say, especially for this quiet type of people, maybe introverts, just quiet people, you know. Those people usually do so much work, and yeah, and they usually do not show off, so to say. Like what they don't like is showing off. That's why they do not brag with the amount of work they did. But this is a real problem, you know. It is not interpersonal relationship where you can stay shy. Yeah, it is work, and we realized that every team member should commit somehow to the project. Yeah, and to make this your part visible, you should tell about it. There can be different ways. For instance, you can tell about your input during some planning meetings, or you can use different online instruments, you know, when like the project manager can give you a task, and then you can write how it is going on, the progress of this task, and so on and so forth. So at least like the project manager would see that you are busy with this task. Yeah, and maybe like it is also possible to make it visible for other partners, for other team members. Yeah, so we see a pregnant woman here, and I would say that this is quite a nice story because you know, as I said before, this video is recorded in the frame of the project Mentoring for Women Empowerment, and we know that women get pregnant. So let's read the story. We had a big project running and our manager got pregnant. We were in panic because she was the most experienced in her team. We could not imagine who could possibly substitute her. And then we looked at our junior trainer. Before, she didn't seem like a potential leader, but thanks God she was there and ready to help. Sure, our pregnant manager did some mentoring, but if not for this junior trainer girl, the project would stop. Okay, we called these staff members and their life situations in a women team problem. Women are potential mothers and this can happen anytime. This is not a problem, this is the reality, right? But solution, what would be the solution? I would say that, first of all, like women, like the major workers, should keep some younger workers close all the time. Let them see how they work, let them learn, and even better, let them assist. Yeah, so this way, when you have a situation when you should go to the hospital with your child or give birth or whatever. You have people at your work who are not only motivated, but those who have competences, because your work was transparent, they assisted you at your work, and now they are able to do it and substitute you. Thank you. So next one. So we see, what do we see here? We see two people arguing, and let's read the situation. We were financing one organization and then quit collaborating. There was another organization inside, and they were sure that they are only candidates to get this financing, but they weren't. When they knew, they tried to manipulate us, especially one person. He got very emotional. He blamed us, said that it was unprofessional from us to choose his organization. He shouted and made a scene. We got tired of it. This is what we call unprofessional. So we call this situation professional context is the key to your reputation. Let's have a look at this situation again. So there is a potential donor, and you are a potential organization to get the finance and support, some financial support. But something goes wrong and you do not get the support. What do? Do you really get emotional? Do you really blame people? Like, do you really make a scene? Nobody does it really. Maybe yes, maybe no. There are some people that do. And like this company, this foundation, they remember this stressful situation connected with you. And even in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, they would never collaborate with you. And if someone asks you about your collaboration with this organization, you would say that it was negative. So this way you create yourself a reputation. And I would say that even if you didn't get money, investment, contract, whatever, the best way to act is to stay professional. And even though these people, these companies didn't buy your product, didn't invest, whatever, and they have a good impression from your company, they see that you are very professional, they would recommend you, they would be your ambassadors because you made a good impression on them. Yeah. So intuition. So can be intuition professional? We were negotiating with one potential employee about getting him on board. My gut feeling kept telling me that he won't work for us anyway, but I kept negotiating, thought it was because some contract details and we can fix it. Finally, he denied, and I realized how much time I wasted on him. So the situation is by Andrew. The problem is not listening to your gut feeling, to your intuition. Yes, it is work, but work is mainly based on communication. And if you are pretty experienced in communication, then sometimes you can tell from the situation, yeah, some things, even they are not like being said. So sometimes you should listen to your gut feeling and do what? And we think that you should prepare a backup plan. Maybe not something very big, but there should be something you have in mind just in case something goes wrong. Situation number 2. My colleague was supposed to come to our training in Russia in summer 2020. That time she lived in Ukraine. Shortly before coming, some obstacles started. She said she would leave earlier than others. Then she said she would arrive later than others. Then she said that it is stupid to take a COVID-19 test when she arrives. She could get a virus somewhere in the street 5 seconds after passing the test. On the day of her arrival, she texted me that there are new regulations in her country that would not let her come back after training. And she stayed there. And it was so obvious for me that something was going on and she would not come, but I didn't listen to my gut feeling. Yeah, once again, don't ignore your gut feeling. Don't ignore your intuition. It is based on your experience, and always prepare a back plan in such situations. A leader, tactical or strategic? So, by Victor. The NGO had a new director. This was a middle-aged man, and he managed some daily things pretty well. But when it came to strategy, we invited them to some forums and meetings. He didn't seem very interested. He didn't want to see anything further than in a year. He didn't think strategically. He didn't care about networking, donors, etc. Well, what would we say here? I would say that tactical management is a great thing, really, especially for business, and not only because, you know, you have your clients to take care, yeah, on daily basis, and you should do things tactically as well. But if you do not have a strategic vision, if you do not work on the future of your project, then it is quite bad, because even the old saying in Latin, non progredi est regredi, means that there is no way you can just stagnate. You should either progress or regress. So think about the future of your project, network, go to different meetings, meet donors, whatever. Yeah. Okay, control freak. So, creation by Stepan. I'm a control freak. Even if I let others do something, I double check it. Of course, they see it, get disappointed, lose motivation, do not take initiative anymore. And I again do everything myself. What is the problem? The problem is that there is a control freak in your team. It can be project manager, or it can be any other team member. What is the solution? First of all, I would say that the project manager, like the leader, should talk to this person tete-a-tete, because maybe this person doesn't realize that something is wrong. Maybe he thinks it's okay, or maybe he notices everything, but he just doesn't know what to do. Then after this stage, when this person realized that there is something wrong, we recommend you to have a brainstorm with the whole team and make it, you know, very friendly, because like this team will support the control freak on his way of learning the teamwork. Yeah, you can think of some ways other team members can support him, yeah, and teach him how to let the situation go, you know, how to let other people create or co-create. Okay, so leaders should have influence, and this is the last slide, if I'm not mistaken. Situation by Yulia. The level of expertise of his employees was equal to his. That's why when he talked to them about perspectives and strategy, they didn't feel like his suggestions were the correct ones. They felt like they were questionable. Yeah, this is quite a story, actually, because, you know, project managers sometimes manages people who have some very unique, maybe hard skills, or some people who are very good professionals, yeah, in their sphere. But he's a project manager, and how can he make the situation the way he has influence? Yeah, he has respect, professional respect in the team, even though maybe he doesn't have the same competencies, the same professional career. Yeah, so the first recommendation we have for those people is to never stop growing. So show yourself and other people in your team that you learn, you develop all the time. Every day you become a bit better. And second of all, you know, maybe you have some great professionals on your team, but all of them are responsible for some small parts of the project. And you as a leader has a common vision, strategic vision of the project. And your goal is to keep it, is to develop it, and to share this vision with your employees, with your colleagues. Yeah, transparency and motivation, self-development will make you your team members respect you, definitely. And this is pretty much all. I would say the last phrase: be smart, learn on other people's mistakes. It was nice to be here with you. Once again, my name is Anastasia Poyabednova. Have a great day and goodbye.